And I asked the group what marketing meant. And this one little girl put her hand up and she said, I know what marketing means. It's being able to say, hello, here I am. And I love that because if you think about the relationships you have in your life, the best ones are not transactional. They are much deeper than that. And the way to surround yourself with people who are like you is to be authentic and to be genuine and to talk about the world how you see it. So if you have the courage to be able to do that, you're going to end up with a great group of friends, a great group of clients, a great group of ambassadors.
Hi, everybody. My name's Tiffany, and I am the host of this show, it's Unveiling Journeys. I'm so happy to have you here. Just a brief moment about myself. I absolutely love the power of networking, the power of meeting incredible people. Oh, yeah, I almost going to say this, like being not the smartest person in every room I show up to, because I want to meet these incredible people and I just want to be a sponge to them. In that, whenever I get to meet some of the highest and best people I've ever met, I just can't help but say, you are so cool. How do I get to meet more cool people just like you? But also, by the way, I've met some incredible people. I think there's a ton of people you need to know. How can I share them with you? What's your favorite way? Can I text you? Can I LinkedIn you? Can I three-way message you? Right? And all of the above. That leads me to all the cool guests that I get to have on the show. And that leads me to introducing you to John. Okay, hear me out. Just some of the coolest people. That's all it is. And we all get to hang out and have a chat on the show. So here's what I'm going to do. John, tell everybody, welcome. Thank you, by the way, for coming on the show.
Welcome. Thank you. Great intro.
Tell everybody a little bit about what you're doing right now, kind of what you're up to, and a tiny bit about yourself.
First of all, thank you for having me, and I hope that I'm going to live up to one of these cool guests. So I'm John Hibbs, father of two, live in a tiny island called Guernsey, which we'll talk about, I suspect. I run a company called Coefficient. What Coefficient does is it basically helps people to help people, and so it's an online data analytics platform that we use specifically with business coaches, consultants, and HR professionals to allow them to understand the businesses that they are working with better. And we love that model because we love working with people. We think that our successes are sweetened because we did it together. We have a profitable growth for all models so that not only does Coefficient win, but our partners win as well. And yeah, it's good fun. So Coefficient's 3 years old, and we're growing. We're signing up partners all the time. And the more partners we sign up, the more data we gather, the more powerful the tool is for everyone.
This is incredible. You said you get to help people who help people, like coaches and so forth. These are, I'm noticing like a theme of this. And I'm just going to say what I have said in a couple of recent shows. You aren't just like helping one person, but the ripple effect, like dropping a pebble, it doesn't just kerplunk. No, it like ripples throughout the whole crystal clear lake, And that is fun because you're impacting thousands and millions that you probably don't even understand the exponential effect of it. And this is why I think one of the reasons I wanted to have you on the show, because if I can get you in front of 5 people that really mean something instead of 10,000 people that mean nothing, you get to still create that ripple effect with thousands and thousands of people or millions. We don't know. We're not going to limit the effect.
Yeah. So, I mean, and this is something that I talk about all the time and will probably be a recurring theme through our conversation. But I mean, the world is like a big wobbly noodle soup, and it's crazy. There's a lot going on, and we're touching people and interacting with people all the time. And if you tug on one little noodle strand in your soup, you don't know what is going on inside the soup, but something is happening. And we also, as players in this grand human drama that we call life, sometimes I don't think we realize the power that we have. And it's a bit cliched, but it's absolutely true. If you go around grumpy and shout at people, that has a very negative impact on them, which spreads. But if you go around spreading joy and happiness and smiling and opening doors for people, that has a much more positive effect. And you just don't know where those ripples are going to end up. And you have to have had, if you talk to children about this, they don't really get it. But, you have to have had experience to actually seen this happen from time to time. It is really quite amazing.
I love that so much. It reminded me of a story I told someone just yesterday, so it's fresh in my mind that I was somehow this like me. I'm usually me, my bubbly self, but I was like taking this bitter route in my like late 20s, and my little sister was like, I love being the brightest part of everyone's day, so I intentionally find people, the teller, the grocery store lady, to find something on them that I'm genuinely complimenting them on because when was the last time they got a compliment? And it it blew me out of the water because she's 8 years younger than me, and here I am, like, this cynical, uppers 20s, and she's, like, brand new 20s, and I'm like, I was excited because I saw a shirt that said "Silently judging you," and I wanted it. Like, here I was silently judging you, and here it is my little sister teaching me words of wisdom to say, "I'm silently thinking of what I can compliment you on so I can be the best part of your day." And, like, stuff like that, she changed everything in that part of it, and then you just get to lean into the gratitude and the greatness. And when you hunt for what you want to hunt for, you'll find it. And so now I want to hunt for the greatness in people.
Mm,
And that's why I come across some of the coolest people that I want to bring on the show because I'm hunting for the greatness within you and any other guests that I have that I want to tell everybody about.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
This is so cool. That's why we got along so well. I was like, please tell people about you. Oh, let's do this. The show's Unveiling Journeys. I want you to tell people from the beginning. Like, I want to hear your whole story.
Okay,
Where are you
okay.
from? Start from there.
So this is obviously my favorite story, talking about myself. So thank you. Strap in. So I was born in a place called Guernsey. It's a tiny island, 25 square miles, population 60,000 people. And I was born in 1975, and I had the most idyllic upbringing. Wonderful parents, that loved me but didn't spoil me. My grandparents lived next door, or my friends were like 5 minutes away. Guernsey was like a very, very sleepy small island. And Guernsey was great until I was like sort of like a late teenager. And then it suddenly became the most boring place on the planet. And so I was desperate to leave, went to university to study architecture, but I did no work at all. And they kicked me out of university. And this was a real wake up call to me, because up until about that point in my life, everything had just kind of happened naturally for me. Guernsey's a very sort of insular place. You go and you get a Saturday job with someone because they know your parents, and I just thought life was going to fall into place. But so being kicked out of university was like hell. Like, you can't just swan about. Like, life is real. Um, and but I stayed in London, and I started my first business, which was a personal fitness training business. And so, I'm young. I'm your typical young man, right? Young, stupid, but very confident. And I thought I was going to just have the best personal training business in the whole of London because, well, why not? And the reality was very different. I really struggled for a few years, made hardly any money, and didn't really know how to improve things or change it. And then the universe gave me a gift, and the universe does this from time to time. It gives people gifts, and it gave me an amazing gift of a new client who happened to be a business coach. And Tiffany, I'd never heard of a business coach, didn't know what they were. This is how green I was.
Uh-huh.
And anyway, he's a guy called Les Callis. Totally cool. He became a client of mine, so we trained together twice a week for about a year. And then one day he sat me down. He said, "Look, we're not going to train today. Just sit down. We need to have a chat." And so I'm hit with panic. Shit, he's going to sack me, fire me. And he said, "Look, I really like you, John. I think you're a nice guy, and I think you're a decent personal trainer." He said, "You're shit at running a business."
Oh.
And I was like, "Okay." Thank you. And he said, look, you're so bad. In fact, I think you're probably going to go out of business, but I don't want you to. What I want you to do is I want to help you. So give me free personal training and I can give you free business coaching. Yeah, it was cool. And he taught me two things. He taught me, number one, measure what's going on in your business and use those measurements to make better decisions, which is so obvious, but I wasn't doing it. And the other thing, which isn't so obvious, but it is far more important, is that business is all about people and relationships and human beings.
Yeah.
And so fast forward 12 months, I've now got a waiting list of clients. I've got 2 full-time staff and, I've got a really successful, thriving business. And I'm like 25 years old. And I remember thinking, first of all, you're just so proud of yourself because you've created this thing. But I've got a business that I'm not leaning on anyone else. I'm sustaining myself. I'm looking after my 2 staff. I'm improving the lives of all my clients, and they're all fitter and healthier and happier, and they've all got families and jobs and businesses. And I'm thinking, oh, this is incredible. Like this is a multi-win thing that I've created. And the most amazing thing is it's an imagination out of my head.
Yeah.
A few years earlier, JMH Fitness didn't even exist. And now people are having a relationship with it. Not me, with JMH Fitness, with an organization, an entity. It doesn't exist in any real way. I just thought, God, if this is the power of the limited liability corporation company to build these multi-win vehicles where everyone benefits, I'm like, this is fascinating for me. Like, I am all in. So that was JMH Fitness. I did that until I was about 30. I got invited back to Guernsey to help some businesses here. And I did that for a while with Les's help. And Les is still my business coach today, 25 years later.
Wow.
And then about 5 years ago, I went right back to those first principles, and we started thinking about Coefficient. Coefficient is officially 3 years old, and it does exactly what Les taught me: measure what's going on, and it's all about people, and that's what Coefficient does. There we are. Okay, so this is a great story, and you said at the start of this conversation, you talk about you don't want to be the smartest person in the room, and I have lived my life like that, because if you are the smartest person in the room, you are definitely in the wrong room, because you're not learning and you're not growing. I don't really have any skills. Like, I don't really have any qualifications. I don't have any skills, but what I'm very good at is getting cool people together in a room and encouraging them to solve a problem. And Coefficient is a really interesting business with a great business model. So you can be a personal trainer, or you can be an accountant or a lawyer or an architect or whatever, or a business coach. What you are essentially doing is you are selling your experience in blocks of time. Usually you're saying, look, I'll come and look after your business for a day. That's $1,000, or it's going to take me, so many hours. And I'm going to charge you $150 an hour, or whatever. And that's okay, because once you've done your day's work, you send an invoice, you get paid. So it's immediate cash. But the problem with it is you run out of time, because there's a limit to it. There's only 24 hours in a day, and you've got to sleep for some of those. So it's limiting, which is why you see like law firms, accountancy firms, they'll try to fix that problem by employing a member of staff, and then another one, and another one, and another one. And, so you could, rather than selling a service, you could sell a product. And, we're fairly familiar with what products are. Like, you and I have both bought a computer, which happens to be a product. We're both wearing T-shirts, which are products. We're both sat in chairs that are products. But actually, I like to think about products and services really, they're not intangible things. They're giving us experiences. So, okay, we bought a computer each. Look at this experience. We're like 5,000, 6,000 miles apart and having a conversation. I mean, how cool is that?
So cool.
And
Yeah.
some products, we're inside our products.
Yeah.
Like we're having an experience of wearing them.
Right.
But the problem with the product is once I've sold my t-shirt or my computer, I've then got to spend money to buy it to create a new one. Now, with software, you only need to build it once, and then you can sell it 1 billion times if you can. So that it was, really what got me excited about Coefficient is that we're not limited by time. We only need to build it once. I know, okay, you got to add in some features and whatnot, but you're not building it afresh every time you sell it. We're a small business. We're in startup mode. We've got no money. So I had to convince people to come and help us. So we've got 3 advisors. Les is one. We've got a team of 9 subject matter experts that help us build the platform. We've got some developers. And all of these people have come and miraculously helped us build a fantastic platform that's adding real value to people's lives. Now, at the start of that journey, unlike the accountant who does an hour's work, sends an invoice, gets paid, we don't get paid for years. And the product's relatively affordable. So we need to sell lots and lots and lots of it to make money. So there's a long curve before you start making any meaningful revenue. So yeah, it's really interesting. So like, I suppose, how have I convinced these people to come and help us build Coefficient? And I think it's down to, we've got a really clear vision about how we view the world. The world is full of people, and if we can improve business, we know that we improve people. People go home every day to their families. Happy people create happy families. Happy families become happy communities. Communities is where we live. And I say to people, look, this is how I think about the world. This is how we think about the world, what we believe in. If that sounds good to you, do you want to come and help us build something really cool? I can't afford to pay you at the moment, but if you help us, then maybe in the future we'll be able to, share in the wealth. And I think it's, having that vision and that sort of bigger idea about the world. This isn't just about making money. This is about serving others and doing good in the world. Gives people a purpose.
That's incredible. So it took you to plant that vision with other people because they needed to donate their time, their energy, their all the above to make this start to happen. And of course, really making it past the couple-year mark, like, all right, we got this, right? Get some clients in and going. And what were just some of those moments or learning lessons that you had, you feel like helped you press forward in your business?
Yeah. Oh my God. So starting your own business, when you're in your mid-40s is terrifying. If you're going to start a business, do it in your 20s when you've got no kids and don't have a mortgage and stuff like that. Go into it with your eyes wide open because you are going to change pretty much everything. So we started off selling direct to companies. We realized that it was really hard, 1, but 2, companies are not very good at changing. So we provide amazing data, but the data does nothing. Like, it doesn't change anything, doesn't improve anything, just tells you what's going on. And if you're not going to make the effort to change and to move from where you are to somewhere else, then nothing's going to happen. And we realized pretty quickly that, companies aren't very good at that. So they'd phone us up after 6 months and say, nothing's improved here, John. Coefficient didn't work. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, Coefficient worked really well. But you can't really say that to clients. Like, it's all you. Nobody wants to hear that. So then we pivoted into the working with consultants and coaches, and that worked much better. We wrote a whole built a whole platform and then scrapped that because it wasn't kind of right. So you're having to pivot a lot the whole time. I'm really keen on growth. I love to grow. I love to meet people. I met 1,000 people in the first year of Coefficient because, I like to make relationships. And I believe that actually companies grow, certainly when young companies grow, through the power of relationships and referrals. And I wanted to surround myself with a network of people who thought about the world the same way I did. What was I going to say then? Yes, but my two colleagues, John and Ivan, who are so smart, were like, we are not going to grow too quick, too fast, because the platform's going to break and we're going to make mistakes, and we don't want to annoy hundreds of people when we could just be annoying a small cohort of partners that really liked us, really bought into the platform. So we limited our growth to 30 partners, which is quite restricting. But they were all really friendly. They were all really patient, and they didn't mind when the platform broke, and it did occasionally. And they would tell us, we like this, we don't like that. We want to see more of this. We want to see that new feature would be really cool. Can you build that? And then we were able to sit down with them and say, well, why would that feature be really useful for you? Because oftentimes people think they know what they want, but when you dig into it, actually they want something else. And so that was amazing. So we did that for about a year, and that was fantastic because that gave us all of the product feature information that we needed to help us build something that's actually really useful. A lot of some startups, like online tech companies, they think they've had a good idea, but they're just not testing it and trialing it enough in the marketplace. And you can have the best idea in the world to you, but if no one else buys it, it's not a great business. So that was interesting, going through that process, and we've just got to the end of that now. So we're moving into a sort of a more growth mode of the business, or growth period of the business. So we're quickly signing up partners as quick as we can.
That whenever I get to like this part of the show, I'm always thinking to myself, why do you care so much? Why do you keep showing up? Like as an entrepreneur, I wake up 4 a.m. to check an email, or stay up till 12 and send an email, like.
Yeah. So I don't believe in a transactional world. I don't believe in a world where, look, I'll do something for you if I'm going to get something in return. I just don't think that's how the world works. We spoke about ripples earlier. I think if you can throw a good pebble into the world and watch it ripple out, then other people will throw other pebbles in, which will ripple out, and eventually it's going to come back to me.
Yeah.
But that's still not really why I'm doing it. I'm just doing it because to serve is just what life is all about. And I've had some amazing mentors in my life. Les is one, but there's been plenty of others. And if you're inquisitive about the world and you're open-minded and prepared to change your mind and your position in light of new evidence, then actually you start to kind of see how the world is all kind of joined up. So about 10 years ago, I started developing a business model that I've got called the Monergy Flow, which I do have a little image of it. So for those of you who are on Audible, you need to switch now to YouTube. And so this is my Monergy Flow, and it's subtitled How to Make More Money, How to Surround Yourself with People You Love, and How to Make the World a Better Place. And I think if you're not into those three things, then like probably we're not going to be kindred spirits, but who wouldn't want those three things? And the Monergy Flow diagram here encompasses quite a lot. So on the left-hand side, we've got money. And it's really important that businesses make money because that is where all of the money or all of the wealth is generated. It doesn't come from anywhere else. People think governments print money. They don't. That's just quantitative easing. That's just paper. Where all the wealth is generated is business. But you're not going to generate any money unless you sell something. That's what the S stands for. And we've spoken about products and services already and experiences. I think we're selling and buying experiences. You can't sell anything to anyone unless you do some marketing. That's the M, marketing. Now, I gave a talk at a school once to some young kids who were only about 11 or 12 years old. And I asked the group what marketing meant. And this one little girl put her hand up and she said, I know what marketing means. It's being able to say, hello, here I am. And I love that because if you think about the relationships you have in your life, the best ones are not transactional. They are much deeper than that. And the way to surround yourself with people who are like you is to be authentic and to be genuine and to talk about the world how you see it. So if you have the courage to be able to do that, you're going to end up with a great group of friends, a great group of clients, a great group of ambassadors. To be able to do that well, you need a brand. B is for brand. Now, businesses have brands. But like I said earlier, JMH Fitness had a brand. People were interacting with JMH Fitness, but it was a creation out of my head. And a few years earlier, it didn't exist. And actually, no business really exists in the same way that you and I exist, or trees exist, or sand exists. They are made up by human beings. And so it's the human beings at the start of the chain of this flow that have the values, the personality, the ethics, the ethos, the purpose that creates the brand, that creates the marketing, which means when you stand on the street and say, hello, here I am, it's clear who you are. The clients who like you will be attracted to you, and you can sell them experiences much easier than you can sell someone who doesn't like you, sell to someone who doesn't like you. And that's how you make your money. And I think the business is the moment you make £1 or $1 more than you need, you reinvest that back into your people with, on the top line now, nurture, meaningful connections, and of course, love. Business life is all about love. We love to feel loved and we love to give love as well. And then guess what? You've got even better humans, even better branding, much better marketing, sell even more stuff to even more people, spiral up we go, making more money. And of course, when businesses make money, they pay tax, which goes to the government. And the deal is businesses make the money, government create the environments for businesses to thrive. We can argue about how well governments are doing that, but that's the model. And the added benefit as well is if you have happy humans working for you in your business like that, then they go home every day to their families. Happy humans create happy families. Happy families create happy communities, and communities is where you and I live.
Yeah. Man, this is awesome. All right. At this point, people are like, I want to know you. I want to hang out with you. And how am I going to find you? What's the best way, your favorite way for people to come find you?
Okay, so I love hanging out with people too. So I'd be thrilled for people to contact me. The best way and easiest way is to look me up on LinkedIn.
Nice. Yeah. And if you're like, I don't know, no, there's show notes. You click into them. You friend Tiffany, LinkedIn. You just say, I need to talk to John. You have to tell me which one, right? Because there's a few. But in that, you're absolutely right. Being able to have this like ecosystem of your little graph. So if you guys are listening audio, totally go find the YouTube or LinkedIn, so that way we could share this with you too. This has been so fun to be able to hang out with you and hear your thoughts and your processes and your journey in this. Let's do this. What's one last little nugget or one-liner that you want to leave with everybody today?
Yeah, look, I really genuinely believe that the world is an amazing place. I mean, you and I talking to each other now is amazing. And most of us are safe and healthy and warm and fed. And that hasn't just happened by accident. There are some problems in the world. Mental health is on the increase. poverty and lots of things. I don't believe that is just someone else's problem to fix. I think that as as I said this before, players in this grand human drama, we all have responsibility to look after each other. And we call it responsibility, but really it's our privilege for being here and trying to leave the world in a better way than we found it.
Wonderful. This has been awesome. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming
Thank,
on the show. And
thank you. I
everybody,
loved it.
oh, good. And everybody, thank you for staying. So that way you could hear all the incredible things that John's going to talk about. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode. And I'll go have a great day. Spread the love, right? Bye.